Put your numbers in again, just to see. All right, when it gets to 40, you know what? When it gets to 40, I'm just going to be done. So just so we can. Oh, one more. Two more. Come on. I'll wait for 42 next time.
Okay.
The laggards are just going to be too many. Oh, look at where we are on abortion. So nobody thought it should be that the death of the mother, that there might be some instances where abortion is okay. So nobody over here, but really quite diverse. Quite diverse. Again, more people, a larger number here, lots of people right in the center. Bit of a shift to the left, but more diverse than gun control. Okay? Most people know what their thoughts on the death penalty are. You're generally against it, but then you think, oh, but this guy should maybe I'd make an exception for it. Then you give yourself a 1. 0 is no exceptions. 1 or a 2, right, depending on how many exceptions you might want. Okay. Wow. Wow. So, also, not that surprising. The death penalty is quite popular in California. This is a skew to the right, right? More people to the right of center than to the left of center on the death penalty. Okay? This is fun to kind of know where we stand as a class. Still, and also the most diverse, right? This is where the opinions run the full gamut on the spectrum. Okay. Affirmative action.
Does that include females as well, gender, or is it just race?
Can be race and gender. I would tend to think of it. Let's keep it to race. Let's keep it to race because gender muddies it. Okay. A few more. Come on, I have to reset 40. All right, I get bored quickly. Affirmative action, so it says shift to the left, but not as much. A lot of people think the mode, this will be our mode, right, for those of you in research, right? The highest frequency is that current laws are about the same. Now what this masks, oh, now we don't have, now it's bimodal, right? Bimodal distribution, just for the research folks. Okay, so, yeah, well you can see again, almost as diverse here as mode is back, the death penalty. So, really diverse ideas on whether quotas or affirmative action policies make sense. Okay. So this one is either reflecting a younger demographic, California, or the professor who's leading the survey is gay. That can skew things too. So you, I mean, that always has to be taken into consideration when you're doing research, if we were doing research, right? Because these variables could skew things. In a different class, it might come out a little differently because the environment is everything. 10 years ago it would have been.
It's more in the news and the media.
I can tell you 10 years ago I wouldn't have been even over here myself. It's because we're on game. I mean, if I didn't talk about it now, it would be ridiculous. So I will. So I was one of those people who actually thought that I wanted to make a deal with Catholics. I'm evangelical Baptist, so that's my background. But Catholics are actually even stronger in some ways. So the deal with the cardinals would be, listen, let's give churches the exclusive right to marry people. I would be very much in favor of that because I do really believe in freedom of religion and not too much social impinging on religion. And I care about the Catholics more than the Protestants, actually, because in the Catholic Church, marriage is a sacrament. Protestants don't have that. They really don't have that. You know, they only have 2 sacraments. But in the Catholic Church, marriage is a sacrament, and has been that for a very long time. And so, but then I realized what I'd have to negotiate with them, and that they would never say yes. And what I'd negotiate is, let you be the exclusive arbiters of who you will marry, and let the government be out of the business altogether, and give everybody civil unions, so that there will only be civil unions at the government level, and marriage would be a church thing. They would never go for that, not because, just because they wouldn't, because the Pope has been connected with the power. I'm watching the Borgias right now. What a fascinating series that is. But there are 2 versions of them. They're really great. But the church has been very, very closely connected to power, right? And there used to be a state church. So that would be giving up too much for them. So once I realized you're never going to win that, just, you know, go along with what everybody else is saying about this. The other thing is in my generation, you know, I'm kind of the gay-lib generation, you know, the first generation that tried to be different than Boys in the Band. I don't know if you remember that, but so I first saw the movie Boys in the Band, and people would say, we're not like that anymore. And at that point, I was 20, and I said, you know, from where I'm standing, it pretty much looks that way. It's kind of like, you know, we didn't call each other partners back in the 70s. We were lovers. You know, we had lovers, and to be somebody's lover, that was the highest kind of thing you could be. And I remember saying to Dean, well, I call Robert my lover. And she said, that implies a sexual relationship. I said, oh my God. So does marriage. And she said, well, not necessarily. And I said, well, believe me, there are a lot of couples in the gay community where sex has gone out of the relationship too. That happens. You know, we still call each other lovers. And I really liked the term because it was sort of illicit. You know, it was outside the boundaries, and it said, you know, it said something positive. We weren't trying to be spouses. We were too, but we were not going to ape heterosexual society, blah, 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 blah. So that, you know, this idea of turning, I'm not even used to this idea of having to call my partner my husband. I mean, it just doesn't quite fit, you know? The language just said, I'll get there. But it's, even on this one, because younger people, my nieces and nephews are way ahead of me on that. You know, says, no. Spouse, even partner, sounds like a business relationship. But actually, there are all these social benefits, and as you get older, you realize, oh my God, it's about money. So the first time we became domestic partners in New York, my college paid for domestic partner insurance if you said you had a domestic partner. That's all you had to do. So came to California. Samuel Merritt University had also gotten enlightened since I was gone, but they required a piece of paper. So in between the bank and the phone company, we stopped by City Hall because that was health insurance. You know, so it was no party, no nothing. It was bank, City Hall, health insurance, and okay. So I think after 21 years together, if it passes, we'll get married. I don't know, living in sin has been kind of. All right. Okay, religion. Where are we on religion?